You expect drama in Suns vs Mavericks. Luka and Devin Booker hate each other. Goes back to Book clowning Luka, dramatic laying on the floor, calling it a Luka special. Then Luka embarrassed the Suns, Game 7 in Phoenix. It's a fun rivalry. We didn't expect Luka versus a reporter. During the third quarter, the Suns turned a tie game into a blowout. Book cooking the Mavericks, and the home crowd started booing. But then, Luka turns his head away from the play a full 5 seconds. What's going on? Well, ESPN reporter Tim McMahon let us know. Luka asked security to eject this Suns fan. The comment the fan made that drew Doncic's wrath, "Luka, you're tired. Get your butt on the treadmill." Damn. That is bad, but people piled on Luka. Softest star in the NBA. Pillsbury Doughboy should take the advice. People are so harsh. But Luka saw this drama and took it out on the reporter.
That was not the only thing he said, but I knew you would be the first one to point out something like that. Because I'm not going to say what he said, but I knew you were going to be the first one to put out something like that, so I just saw it, man. It's just funny. He always seemed to be the first one to put some bad stuff about me.
Why did you ask for the fan to be ejected?
Because he was cursing me the whole first half, too.
Why didn't you ask for him to be ejected in the first half then?
Because I never would eject a fan. They pay for tickets, but I had enough, you know.
So Tim McMahon's tweet wasn't the whole story. So fans had Luka's back. Tim is such a loser. Does Tim even like the Mavs? Luka getting a taste of scumbag American media. It's scum like McMahon why this country's been in decline. Now technically the fan wasn't ejected, he chose to leave, whatever. So was Luka right to be upset? Well, a video came out that settles the debate. One time, I actually interviewed Charles Barkley one-on-one, and he was like the nicest celebrity I've ever met. I was in San Antonio, there was no other media around. He could have blown me off, but he didn't. And right in the middle of one of his answers, he stops and he goes, "Hey, that's a nice watch. Where'd you get that?" But I lost the watch, seriously. And I've never been able to find one that good until Holzkern contacted me to sponsor this video. They have amazing looking pieces that reminds me of that watch I had, made from natural materials. I'm talking like wood and stone. And I got this watch. You may have seen me wearing it on recent videos. My wife got jewelry. We both love it. And you can hook up that special someone for Valentine's Day. Holzkern is the perfect place for a Valentine's Day gift. So click the link in the description and use my promo code AMHOOPS15 for 15% off. It's a special offer just for us to try out Holzkern. They are based in Austria and Germany over there in Europe, but they cover all of the customs fees over here to the US with express shipping. So again, use the promo code and thanks again to Holzkern. This isn't the first time that reporter has gotten hate from the Mavericks. Tim McMahon has been banned from covering the team twice. First in 2008 for writing something negative about the team, then in 2014 because ESPN thought Dallas wasn't good enough to cover every day. But he has such a bad reputation, even Coach Jason Kidd lost his temper. To this day, McMahon is such a hated reporter. Jason Kidd confronted him this year.
That was a big thing you guys wanted to make a big deal about last year. So write some positive
I just asked you a question.
and I'm giving you a answer.
Write some positive To be fair, McMahon does write positive Mavs gamble on Kyrie-Luka partnership is paying off. Mavs Luka Doncic outshines LeBron, but he has also taken shots, like writing entire articles about how Luka is out of shape. But Luka isn't the only superstar who has lost his temper with the media. Back in 2019, the biggest story was Kevin Durant's free agency. The Warriors were dominating, but KD didn't sign an extension. Rumors said he wanted to go to New York. The Knicks traded Kristaps Porzingis, opening a ton of cap space. So obviously, everyone wants to talk to Kevin Durant, but he refused to speak with the media. So Ethan Strauss of The Athletic wrote a big article telling fans about this. He said for 8 days, your favorite player has refused to answer questions. But on day 9, KD had enough. Imagine being Ethan Strauss and one of the best players of all time calls you out to your face.
You got a dude, Ethan Strauss, who come in here and just give his whole opinion on stuff. Grow up. Grow up. Yeah, you grow up.
I would actually be psyched if that happened. I would be showing my family at Thanksgiving, especially if I was right. Turned out KD did want New York and the rumors were true. It wasn't some made up story. KD was mad because they knew his plan. But these reporters are lucky it's not the 1980s. Athletes were unhinged back then.
Don't yell at me.
I'll yell if I want to.
I'll yell back too.
Get the out of here.
No, you don't pull that. Be a man.
Be a man. The goddamn man's on the ground when the goddamn
Get out.
Tired of all these ass questions every night. I'm sick and tired of all this
A meeting with White as soon as he can get one.
Real man, you know that? Yes. You are a real man, Dion, I'll say that.
You know that is what Luka really wants to do to Tim McMahon. But then, other reports came out, including this video. A reporter named Dwayne Rankin shows Luka hear the treadmill comment, stare the guy down, and wave to security. In this tweet, he only mentions the treadmill comment. You can see why. Look at how quick Luka snaps his head when someone calls him fat. And several other reporters said this, not just McMahon. He wasn't trying to make him look bad, just reporting the facts. Now, I'm not saying that the fan was innocent, but so many people called Luka out, he had to admit it the next day on TNT.
I was really frustrated, we were losing. I twisted my ankle in the first half. It was just a lot of emotions. Probably shouldn't have done that. When I'm wrong, I admit it, so probably shouldn't have done that.
So according to Luka, he got overly emotional, took it out on the fan and a reporter. He regrets it and says he was wrong. Those are his words. What happened? Well, the Suns took the lead and Devin Booker cooks Luka, easily blows by him. Then, on a fast break, Tim Hardaway has Bradley Beal. Who's got Booker? Oh, it's our boy, casually jogging back. Wide open Booker 3. And Book doesn't even need a screen on this one. They hunted Luka over and over to win the game. And of course, he was complaining to the refs the entire time. You think Luka was embarrassed? So was his coach, Jason Kidd, who called out Luka's defense and immaturity the game before.
We just have to be better defensively. They picked on one guy the whole night and understand we got to protect him. Move on to the next play, and we've talked about that over and over. And sometimes, with maturity, it takes time. We've been inconsistent in that department where we can get caught up with the officials instead of just staying focused on the game.
So if a coach is talking like that about his superstar, it's insane for fans to rip a reporter for doing his job instead of Luka for getting distracted. But you know who loved this? Devin Booker. I appreciate that fan support. I don't know what he said, but I usually don't let what I hear bother me. I hope he didn't cross too many lines, but I'll be getting his information. If you can find it, let me know. He's gonna send the guy a present for pushing Luka over the line. But all of this is a reporter's job to let us know. And as much as fans say they hate it and they're a loser, it's what we want. You can actually go to Mavs.com/news and read all the positive shit you want. In that world, nothing bad ever happens. But you know why ESPN.com is visited 1,000 times more than Mavs.com? Because fans want the real story, like the KD example. Imagine if, with zero warning, he just left the Warriors for the Nets. Fans would be stunned. And if you read Warriors.com, well, he came out of nowhere. But Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams play a different game. They don't report the full story in exchange for access. For example, to make the Nets GM happy, Woj did not report that KD called for the GM and coach to be fired. It was the biggest story in the NBA. Is that the kind of coverage that you want? So I'm not saying that every reporter is perfect, but people trashing the reporter actually need to ask, why is Luka so distracted? And why have we lost 5 of the last 7 games? Not why is a reporter doing his job. But if you want in-depth on how Woj and Shams really operate behind the scenes, check out this video. It is probably the last video those guys want you to watch.